Hey guys, Zen here. Welcome back to another week's episode of the Weekly Winners series, where I showcase all the first place winning deck lists in this past week's tournaments using data from Limitless and PokemonMeta.com. Without further ado, we're going to jump right into the #1 first place winning deck lists with over 16 first place winning decks, and that is the Greninja Giratina build. Now, the one we're going to talk about today is one that we haven't seen before. Previously, there's the Snorlax Giratina Greninja, there's the Oricorio Greninja Giratina, but this one is running Tapu Lele and only Psychic Energy. I'd imagine some players are also running Water, but at the highest level, I've only seen pure Psychic Energy. And the way this works is a Tapu Lele for 1 energy can hit any Pokemon on your side, your opponent's side of the field, and deal 20 damage times the number of energies. So if they have no energy, it's 0. However, if they have something like their own Giratina in the back line that they're trying to ramp, well, at 4 energy, that's 80 damage to Giratina. And if they can't get into the active spot, that's 2 turns and they knock them out. Throw this along with the Greninja and Rare Candy. You're able to get that online very quickly, and that's an extra 20 damage. And you could potentially just knock out anything that your opponent is trying to build in a ramp on their bench before they can even get it online, which is pretty strong. So yeah, a huge fan of this. I've actually played it in ranked myself. Very consistent. It is my go-to. I actually came across this deck before finding out it was a first place winner from a Japanese content creator's YouTube channel where they were playing this in the highest level of ranked. So I'd imagine they were one of the first players to create this, and then a lot of other people started playing it in tournaments, and then it started winning first place tournaments. But yeah, we have the full lineup there. 2 Ferokis, 2 Greninjas, 2 Tapu Leles, 2 Giratinas, 2 Cyrus, that's key, a Mars, a Cape, 2 Pokeballs, a Nurse Joy, 2 Researchers, 2 Rare Candies, and a single Communication. Honestly, probably the strongest deck in today's video, but not the spiciest. We're gonna talk about that towards the end of the video, but for now, let's jump into the second highest winning first place deck list. And oh, look at that, guys. It's a Darkrai Giratina. Now, this is gonna be the typical mold here. Like, most of the decks that are winning first place with the Darkrai Giratina are playing this variation. However, I will include a couple other variations, and they're only going to deviate by including 1 extra Pokemon. You're going to see things with Oricorio or Komala, I believe, the little koala thing. That Pokemon can deal 70 damage for 2 energy. However, if you give it the energy while it's in the active zone, it goes asleep. So you want to give it the energy while it's not in the active zone. Anyway, the idea of the Komala is that it can counter Oricorio, and then Oricorio is also there to counter other EXs if you need be. But yeah, this is pretty much the staple. You kind of even don't need those 2 Pokemon because Darkrai from the bench can just snipe the Oricorio. It really just depends. So yeah, this is the solid. It's still good. Crazy. We got over 150 new cards, guys, and this is still one of the top 2 decks, which is wild to me. 2 Darkrai's, 2 Giratinas, 2 Cyrus, a Cape, a Leaf, 2 Mars, 2 Pokeball, 2 Nurse Joys, 2 Sabrinas, 2 Rocky Helmets, and 2 Researchers. I mean, if you can't beat them, right? Next up is Steamzard, and I gotta be honest with you guys. Whenever I play a variation of Steamzard on the ranked ladder, it's just free wins. And it's not because I think this is like a strong deck. It's a pretty good deck, right? I just feel like the matchups I get whenever I play Charizard into ranked are the easiest matchups ever. I'm going on 6, 7, 8 game win streaks with this deck. Not this exact deck. I'm running a Turtonator. However, this first place winning deck list in a 193 player tournament had 2 Steamzards, 2 Charmanders of different types, a single Charmeleon, and a Litten, and an Incineroar EX without the Torcat in the middle. The idea of this is if your opponent is playing Oricorio, the Incineroar is your best bet. You play the Incineroar because Incineroar's first attack, Fire Fang, even though it does no damage to the Oricorio, it still burns them. So Oricorio stopping your, EX Pokemon from doing anything? Yeah, not anymore. Incineroar is like, that's cute. I want some KFC right now. I want some fried chicken. We have a Cape, a Guzma. I keep calling him Gizmo, so if you hear that, sorry, not sorry. Iono, 2 Lilies, 2 Pokeballs, Comms, 2 Researchers, 2 Rare Candies, and a single Sabrina. Pretty solid deck list. If you're having trouble in ranked, play a variation of Steamzard, maybe even with the Incineroar. You'll be surprised. I think there's something in the code where the game's like, you know what? we're going to give this player nothing but great matchups. Conspiracy Corner, potentially. Anyway, this had about 5 winning deck lists this week. Moving on to the next one, this one had 4 first place winning deck lists, a variation of the Crobat Arceus Carnivine build. This one's interesting. It was in a 98 player tournament, 2 Arceus, 2 Carnivine, 2 Crobat, 1 Golbat, and 1 Zubat. Now, I myself have made the mistake in the past. This is clearly the correct Zubat and the correct Golbat because they require colorless energy to deal damage, and then when you evolve into Crobat, you're not dealing damage, you're using the ability. The reason I point this out is because most of these first place winning deck lists running this are only running grass energy for Carnivine, and then you give that to your other Pokemon and your Arceus. Crobat's never going to do damage. You don't need that single darkness energy. I saw it on the ranked ladder, but not in the first place winning tournaments. Now, on top of that, we have Cyrus. We have Ilima in case you start with Arceus. Not to worry, take a little bit of damage, bounce them back to your hand. Then we have Iono, Mars, 2 Pokeballs, 2 Rare Candies, 2 Researchers, and a single Communication. Pretty solid, and that's probably going to be the 4th and final super meta relevant that we're going to see every single week. Now, I want to start sharing with you guys some other deck lists that may be popular, but haven't been as popular, and it's really impressive that they are getting first place. Starting with Garchomp. Now, seeing Garchomp on the ranked ladder, this thing's impressive, but to see it actually win an entire tournament with 66 players in the Neo Cup, super impressive. The idea of this is you're guaranteed to start with Gible. You evolve with your rare candy into Garchomp, you can start sniping things, you have your Cyrus to pull them out. Even if that doesn't work out, not a problem. Skullfall, so rare candy into Rampardos. Turn 2, if you were going second, you can retreat your Garchomp or even your Gible, go into your Rampardos and start blasting your opponent for 130. There's often pretty much nothing that's going to be able to survive that. We have Cape and Iono to help you out, 2 Lilies because that works for both Rampardos and your Garchomp. I really like the Lily for Rampardos because it gives you extra turns, hit that 130. So you can knock out 3 Pokemon and potentially not even lose your Rampardos because of Lily. We have a Mars, 2 Researchers, 2 Rare Candies, and a single Skull Fossil. And again, there were 4 first place winners with a variation of this deck list. So shout out to you guys. Tremendous. Next up is my boy Decidueye. Really, it's Meowscarada here. However, it does include Decidueye. We have a first place in a 40-player tournament, and the interesting part here is it's only running 1 of each for the Decidueye line. It's running the Rowlet that also snipes, and the idea is you lead with your Meowscarada, your Sprigatito, you thin your deck, you evolve your Pokemon, you snipe with your Rowlet if you need to deal the damage. Meowscarada is there to combat the other EXs on your opponent's side, maybe even an Oricorio, and your Decidueye, aka Decidueye, is there to just destroy everything else with both of its attacks. On top of that, the sustain in this deck is disgusting. If you draw them early into your hand, the double Ericas, the Leaf Cape, the Lily, you're never going down, and you're probably gonna win. This type of deck list, or a variation of this deck list, there were 3 first place winners this week. We also have a Guzma, a Mars, 2 Pokeballs, 2 Researchers, and 2 Rare Candies. Honestly, I haven't played that much with Decidueye, and I have 3 rainbow border Decidueyes. So I might have to build myself a Decidueye deck list sometime this week, just to have some fun and flex that card, to be honest, and this might be the deck list I want to test it out with. Next is Lucario, the non-EX Lucario, which, let's be honest, a lot of us probably forgot this thing even existed. Yeah, first place, 2 first place winning deck lists. This is in a 35-player tournament, and it's pretty standard. It's literally the same deck list from last set, except you're dropping a single Cranidos, including 2 rare candies, and probably dropping something else that I can't. Hitmonlee, I believe Hitmonlee used to be in this deck list, or maybe Sudowoodo. So yeah, the only thing is you're including rare candies to successfully be able to evolve into your Rampardos consistently is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, pretty solid. Iono, 2 Pokeballs, Communications, 2 Research, 2 Rare Candies, a Sabrina, 2 Skull Fossils, and X Speed. And then the Pokemon are 2 Riolus, 2 non-EX baby Lucarios, a Cranidos, 2 Rampardos, and a single Marshadow. Shout out to you guys for getting first place here. Now, so those were like the really cool, out of the norm. They're not consistently winning every single week. Now we're going to talk about super spicy deck lists that I think are winning for the first time ever. Oh my God, you guys are going to be so excited. First off, it's the Charizard here. This is insane to me. The rest of these are only 1 winners. first place in the World Challenge Series of 45 players. They ran, I don't know if you guys can see this if I zoom in here. Ugh, I can't really zoom in. They ran the non-EX Charizard from Genetic Apex, the worst Charizard ever, which is crazy to me, but it also makes sense because of Oricorio, right? You need that in case your opponent's playing Oricorio, but they're also just playing Charizard EX, the Crimson Storm. The idea is you get it online with Moltres. Once you do, you just win games with 200 damage. There's very little that's going to survive that, right? We have a Cape, 2 Lilies, 2 Pokeballs, a Communication, 2 Research, 2 Rare Candies, and 2 X Speeds. A solid deck list. And now for the one that's going to surprise all of you, including my boy, Royce. I know he's about to be, unless this is Royce. We have a Dragonite winning deck list. It only took us like 6, 7, 8, 10 months. I don't know, man. First place in a 47-player tournament. It's running 2 Dratinis, 2 Dragonites, 1 Dragonair, and 2 Oricorio. You're running the double energy, and it won a tournament, guys. That's all I can say. We're living in the timeline where a Dragonite deck can win a tournament. It's crazy, because if you know anything about this card, it's pure RNG. You can't choose who you're attacking, right? The only thing that chooses the destination of damage in this deck is Oricorio, and that needs a lightning and another energy, 2 energies to attack. So on top of that, we have double Iridas, Guzma, a Lily, 2 Pokeballs, 2 Research, 2 Rare Candies, 2 red cards. Oh my God. So not only are you doing RNG with damage, you're doing RNG with red card, hoping that they get a worse hand every time, and then an X Speed. Shout out to you for getting Tinkerbell, I believe, is the first place winning deck list. I'm gonna call out this winner by name because this is astounding. I am impressed, and I know you guys are too. Let me know in the comments. Next up is an Incineroar variation, only version of itself, running Turtonator with the Keyaway. This is pretty solid because the Turtonator can just easily destroy Oricorio if that's what you're worried about. But also Incineroar is a very strong card. 2 Pokeballs, a Nurse Joy, 2 Researchers, 2 Rare Candies, 2 Rocky Helmets, and 2 Sabrinas. The Sabrinas in this are so strong, so massive, especially I'm noticing the more Sabrinas you have in an Incineroar EX deck list, the higher your win rate percentage probably goes up. But now let's talk about the final deck that we want to talk about today, and that is a Meowscarada first place deck list in a 36-player tournament running none other than Serena, the Queen. For 1 energy, you can deal up to 150 damage if you're feeling lucky. On top of that, we have Sustain with Erica's, Leaf Capes, 2 Pokeballs, 2 Research, 2 Rare Candies, a red card, and a Sabrina. But there you guys have it. That is the, I believe, 3rd week of the Weekly Winners series. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Which deck list caught you off guard? Which one are you interested in? Which one do you also have hope for now that we saw Dragonite win a tournament in the future? Who do we hope to see? And let me know what you think of this series so I can continue it. Thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next week. Later.